Genius Insomniac. It's Bruce, the coolest nerd you know. Today I got a really weird episode. I know, I'm just gonna say it right now. It starts off pretty normal. A woman by the name of Anna Young, she ran a mini marathon, 5 months postpartum. And for those who don't know what postpartum is, it means after she gave birth. In this case, she gave birth to a little girl. Great, she ran the race, or whatever. About 8 miles into the race, though, she did something that seemed a bit unusual. She started using her breast pump. Apparently, she had brought the breast pump with her. She had all the equipment in a backpack in order to pump her breasts in the middle of the race. I found it a bit strange, and this kind of points back to a couple years ago when it seems like, you know, people would graduate from college and breastfeed during graduation. And not only breastfeed during graduation, make sure people took pictures of them breastfeeding during graduation. Now, I'm just going to let you know right now. My opinion is my opinion. It's about all I'm going to explain. So, and I'm going to give my opinion about this because, I mean, that's what I do here. I don't just talk about something that's happening. I give you my opinion, and you can choose to agree or disagree. It's all great. I'm all for it. We can disagree on any and everything. It's great to have a discussion. So here's my take on it. The same way I felt a couple years ago when it seems like there were 2, 3, 4 of these breastfeeding during graduation things, I feel like it's all for attention. It's just me personally. And the whole thing about breastfeeding in public, I don't have a problem with you breastfeeding in public under a blanket. And also, I mean, I love seeing women's breasts. I also believe there is a time and place for everything. And I do believe in using a bit of discretion depending on what you're going to do. Now, I know there's a free the nipple movement where women want to run around topless or whatever. I mean, that sounds good in one instance, but the thing that comes along with the breastfeeding movement and the free the nipple movement is that women want men in the United States to not look at breasts as being sexual. I'm all for movements. I'm all for moving towards what you believe in. But if you're telling me as a guy that I'm not allowed to look at your breasts as sexual, I'm gonna have a very, very, very hard time with that. And you're gonna say, well, breasts were made for feeding and this and that. Okay, well, true. But there are also erogenous zones in breasts. And before you say, oh, well, men have them too, if this wasn't a biological thing that men were attracted to sexually, I would agree. But it's not. Men's breasts are not something that instinctually a woman seeks after for reproduction. The opposite way, when you try to say a man shouldn't sexualize women's breasts and that we do it too much in the United States, it's not really true, because look at childbearing hips and ample breasts for breastfeeding, of course, but that all drives the sexual nature of men. So yes, they're for feeding, but it also drives the sexual nature of men. And don't say that, oh, well, they don't do it in other cultures. And maybe a few, but I believe you have to pay a premium in a magazine to see bare breasts because that's what people want to see all over the world. Now, you know, of course, there's no third world Girls Gone Wild or, you know, National Geographic Playboy. It's all different little culture, whatever. You don't live in that culture, so don't pretend that we're supposed to adopt these feelings about women's breasts. It's not gonna happen. And okay, so, but getting back, because I can go on about that all day. But the other argument is, okay, well, a baby doesn't want to feed under a hot blanket, and if I need to feed my baby right now, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I don't think the child is gonna starve for waiting for, you to go into a back room somewhere or whatever to feed your child, to whip your breasts out. Also, the argument that, well, feeding my child is a natural thing. Now, that's absolutely true. It's completely natural. But guess what else is natural? Me taking a piss, that's completely natural too, and it should not be viewed as something sexual, right? But we know that's not true. We know that if a guy goes into a busy intersection, unzips his pants and starts pissing, everyone's gonna run away in fear, thinking he's gonna use his organ on whoever's in reach. You know it's true. I know it's true. Let's just go ahead and accept it as being true. So, and also, if a guy urinates within, I believe it's 500 feet of a school in public, or 500 yards of a school in most counties, he goes down as a registered sex offender. Let's not pretend that just because it's a natural thing that it's not deemed sexual or sexually aggressive. Now, it's not necessarily, I'm not going to say it's actually sexual aggressive, but I mean, I do believe there's a time and place. And if you don't think there's a time and place for everything, okay, let's just say, let's rewind back. And let's say if Hillary Clinton was, I don't know, 100 years younger. Because I don't know, what is she? She's like 162 or something like that. Okay, so let's say if she was 130 years younger, okay? So let's say she's that young. And she was still having kids and breastfeeding. Let's say she was elected for president. Would you want to see Hillary Clinton pull her titties out and start breastfeeding? Would you say, oh, it's great, she's being a mother? No, you'd say, hold on, bitch. There's time and place for that. Okay, let's just take it back a little closer. Okay, what about the graduations? Okay, so the girls are breastfeeding the graduation. Let's say the actual principal was up there breastfeeding during the graduation. You're not gonna like it, right? Okay, so let's take it back even further. Let's just say you were at a PT, no, I won't even say PTA meeting. Let's say that you were in a parent-teacher conference, and during the parent-teacher conference, teacher just whips her titty out and just starts breastfeeding. You're not gonna like it. You're gonna feel very uncomfortable. That's the only point I'm trying to make, is that there's not just a time and place, and this seems to be grandstand. Now, I know I'm a guy, and I'm not supposed to have an opinion about this, but I also have eyes. And like I said, if you whipped out your titty somewhere, and you say I should be able to breastfeed in public, let's say I just start staring at your breast. Let's say I reach over and grab my camera. Let's say I start filming you while you're breastfeeding. So if I'm filming you while you're breastfeeding, which is completely legal, what can you really say? Now, I know I would be a complete creep and a douchebag for doing it, but it's all legal, right? So like I said, you can't change the mindset of guys just because you want us to be, less sexual? Come on, that doesn't make any sense. That's all I have to say about this. You can talk about this. Hey, if you believe I'm completely wrong, tweet me at GeniusInsomniac. Make sure you follow me at Snapchat at BZBets. Sound off in the comments here on YouTube. And if you like, hate, whatever you feel about this video, make sure you assault and abuse the thumbs up or the thumbs down on this video. Doesn't matter. I just want to know what you feel about it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And look, if you hate this video, tell somebody, say, hey, go watch this video because I really hate this guy. Send them my way. We can all talk about this later. That's it. Make sure you subscribe to this channel here and my other channel, GeniusInsomniac. That's it. I mean, I'm still shocked at what she actually did. But anyway, as always, I'm Bruce, coolest nerd you know.